Hey everyone, thanks for joining me today on this video. This one's going to be a little bit different. My name's Lori Jonas and I write a blog called Living Marvelously where I share words of inspiration and motivation and encouragement for women, mostly women in midlife, to really take hold of their life again and to live out what truly matters to them, to live those dreams that they maybe have put aside for way too long. But today I'm going to twist it a little bit because I wrote a blog a while ago. My dad passed away on March 21st of this year after battling dementia for about 5 years. And I shared this blog post and it really resonated with a lot of people. And it was also shared on in a local magazine here from where I'm from in Little Red Wing, Minnesota. But I thought, you know what? I'm going to create this video too, because maybe there's another audience that needs to hear this, needs to listen to these words, and it maybe will help someone else. So here we go. This is a blog post that I wrote called What My Dad's Final Years with Dementia Taught Me. If we pay attention, we can learn a lot from the people we are closest to. This is a story of lessons from my dad's dementia. The first signs were small but unsettling. We noticed his hygiene slipping, stains on his clothes, and at times he didn't realize he had soiled himself. Then came the forgotten faucets. Twice he left the bathroom sink running and flooded his bedroom. Soon after, his spending became erratic, overdrawing his account before his next Social Security payment came in. I started finding his daily medications scattered on the floor. I was concerned, so my sister and I brought him to the doctor. The routine questions followed. What year is it? Who is the president? Can you repeat these words? Can you draw a clock? And he seemed to fail everyone. And it was 2019, and Donald Trump was president, a fact my dad, a lifelong Republican, would never have forgotten. But he didn't know. And that was the moment I knew something was truly wrong. The diagnosis came, dementia, a form of Alzheimer's, and suddenly all those signs were starting to make painful sense. And at the time, he was living with me, but the reality set in quickly. He was a 250-pound man, and I was his daughter. And as much as I loved him, I could not be his full-time caregiver. The truth felt harsh but necessary, and we needed to find a place where he could be properly cared for. Thankfully, my 5 siblings agreed, and we began the process of finding a nursing home. When we told him, he seemed confused, but not resistant, which was another quiet sign that his mind was slipping because he had always told us, never put me in a nursing home, kill me first. He had seen his mother in a nursing home, his sisters in a nursing home, but on this day, he agreed. And after months of paperwork and searching, he walked into the facility that would become his home for the next 5 years. And at first, we kept up this rhythm that he had when he lived with me. We were taking him out for breakfast. We were going for rides. He still had pieces of himself then. But when COVID hit, the nursing home went into lockdown, and we could only see him through the windows, waving and trying to explain to him what was happening. He couldn't understand why we couldn't come in. But during that time, his mobility declined. He got used to sitting in the wheelchair, and when restrictions lifted, he no longer had the strength to stand. And despite it all, he adapted because over time he really came to enjoy the routine he had there and the familiarity of his new environment. The nursing home became his whole world. He forgot about the 13 years he had spent living with me. He didn't know where he had previously lived, but he remained pleasant. He was friendly with the staff. Everybody loved him there. He was happy with the meals, and he was content to wheel himself around in the halls. In the early days, he had stuck to his routine, having breakfast, reading his newspaper, laying on his stomach to watch TV or play on his iPad, having a nap, and then an outing to the Elks when that was possible, dinner, and then more TV before bed. But slowly, those rituals faded. He stopped using his iPad. The newspaper gathered dust. Even the Minnesota Vikings, his favorite team, he forgot to watch them on Sundays. His days became simple: sleep, wheel around, and if the sun was shining, he was outside. He earned the name Mr. Sunshine because he would do anything to feel the warmth on his face. And living in Minnesota, he wasn't going to let a single sunny day go to waste, even when it was 90 some degrees and the staff was trying to get him to stay inside. They would coat him with sunscreen and let him sit out there for a while. But about 6 months before he passed, he began forgetting who I was. I'm the youngest of six, and I've read that the most recent memories are often the first to disappear, and it made sense, but it still hurt. And one time, while looking at a picture of him with all of six of his kids, someone asked if those were his children. He smiled and said, "All but one." And when I asked, "Which one isn't yours?" he pointed at me on the picture. He pointed at me on the picture. And the moment was a blow to the heart, I'll tell you. I reminded myself it was the disease, not him, but it made visiting harder. He didn't recognize me unless my sister was with me. Our conversations turned superficial, and sometimes he even made excuses for me to leave. Eventually, he stopped eating. He was placed on hospice care. He dropped his weight to about 130 pounds, nearly half of his original size. And then came the final blow. A norovirus outbreak swept through the facility, and his body couldn't recover. He passed away peacefully, surrounded by myself, my sisters, and a brother, and he was 92 years old. My dad lived for pleasure, doing what he wanted, when he wanted. He made a lot of friends and was very successful. But the last 5 years weren't the life he would have chosen. But he still lived his best life. In the end, he's in a better place now. He's reunited with my mom, Marvel, after 23 years, and his soul is ready for its next adventure. Our relationship had its murky parts, but I will miss him, and I still miss him, and I'll carry the lessons his life taught me. The most important one: live your life doing the things you love. It's what Living Marvelously is all about. Started learning that from my mom 23 years ago when she passed, because you never know when that privilege is going to be taken away. I want to share a poem I wrote about my dad after he passed. It says, "Sun in heaven. I wonder if he still likes the sun in heaven. That was new. Did it pull him closer to mom? Is he reaching out to God? Does he lift his face to the light, feeling its warmth like a long embrace? At the nursing home, he chased the sun no matter how hot the day, chewing his gum, sipping his coffee, whispering, 'Ooh, that feels so good.' In winter, he hunted sunlight, found it in windows, in quiet corners, even stepping into another's room just to let it kiss his skin. Funny how the sun once seemed his foe, hiding from it, shielding his face, losing a piece of his nose to its fire. On a trip to the Bahamas, he and mom stayed indoors the entire time. But then something shifted. The sun called to him, and he answered, soaking in every golden drop. I wonder if he still likes the sun in heaven." Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching this video. I have more poetry on this channel, which I love to share because I feel like words speak to us, and you just don't know when it's going to trigger something for you to make your life marvelous. So be sure to subscribe. I'll be back with more. Again, thank you for being here.